Hey, welcome back to How to Barbecue Right. I'm Malcolm Reed. If you've ever wanted to cook ribs on a propane grill, I'm about to show you how it's done. Let's get to cooking. So I picked up a couple slabs of baby back ribs from the grocery store. These are the loin back ribs that come off the top part of that rib cage right over the pork loin. Take them home, take them out of the package, blot them dry a little bit. Always take that membrane off the backside. You can just use a paper towel and jerk it right off. It's not hard to do, but what that does is it exposes the meat on the underside, lets us get some seasoning on it and not have that tough membrane there. Now you can square up the ends a little bit if you want, take off any excess fat, but it's really easy to trim baby back ribs. Now we're ready for the seasoning, y'all, and I'm keeping it simple. Y'all seen me do this recipe before. I got a little yellow mustard that we're gonna act as a binder, so we'll just put a little bit on that backside. We're gonna rub it in just a little bit. And then we need a little SPG, a little salt, pepper, and garlic action. So I'm gonna hit them with my AP rub. And you just want a light coat. I just like that salt, that pepper, that garlic, flavors that everybody knows. It makes a great base for a rib. We're just gonna hit them with that a little bit. If you want to, you can pat it down. And then we're gonna come back with a little bit of your favorite barbecue rub. Y'all know I got the barbecue rub. Right over the top, not too heavy, not too light either. I wanna cover up that mustard. I don't wanna see yellow. It's really what the mustard's for. It does help it stick. Lets me know that I got good coverage of my seasonings. And then you know what we're gonna do? Just flip that rack of ribs over and do the exact same thing. Just a light strip of yellow mustard. You don't need much. Spread it around a little bit with your gloved hand just to make it sticky on top. Come back with the AP. Salt, pepper, garlic, y'all. You know it. I've been cooking ribs this way for years and they come out good every time. And notice I'm not too heavy. I don't want these seasonings burning on me. So we just got a good coverage on there, pat it down. Do the same thing to this other slab. Now this is completely up to you. Whatever flavors you like, hit it with it. You can't go wrong. I like to have it balanced. I like a pretty color, a little bit of heat, and a little bit of sweet. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful on the backside. And we're gonna do the same thing on this thick, meaty side. Light coat of mustard. Then I'm gonna come back over it with the seasoning, make sure I get a little on the end. Good even coverage right across the top. Just make it rain on them ribs. And that's it. Now these ribs just need to hang out on this cutting board. You can already see this first rack starting to get a real rich red color. It's pulling some of that moisture out. That's what I want them to look like. Now these ribs are ready to cook on any pit. Now normally I would be putting them on a smoker about 250, 75 degrees, but I got the chance to cook on a brand new to me propane grill. And what makes this grill special is that it's thermostatically controlled. It has two cooking options. Of course, you can fire the burners up and just grill on it. But this propane grill has a control to where you can set the temperature. If I want these ribs to cook at 250, that's what I can put it on. So I'm gonna see if this Members Mark Pro Series Fire burner will actually do what it says it'll do. So let's go check out this grill. Right now it's the cleanest grill I own because it ain't never been cooked on, but we're about to get it dirty, y'all. First cook on this grill. We put it together at the shop, fired up, make sure it worked. Now you can see it's got a nice stainless steel grate, 5 burners. Now to fire it up, the instructions said to turn the outside burner and the middle burner on high. I've already got my propane bottle on, so we're gonna turn all 3 of these on high. We're gonna adjust the thermostat to about 250, and then we're gonna hit the burner switch over here. Now we got fire, that's ignition right there. All 3 burners are lit. The thermostat control is on the back wall. That's gotta be where the sensor is to pick up the temperature heat. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna regulate this gas flow, I guess. The dial on the outside is what I'm most concerned about. I wanna see how close the temperature that gets to that 250 mark. It should be about that line right there. It's probably gonna be a little different because the thermometer's up here in the glass and the probe's in the back wall, but it's gotta be pretty close. When we're cooking ribs, close is good enough for me. It's been about 10, 12 minutes and this thermostat is holding this grill right at that 250 mark. So that's kind of where I want to be to cook some ribs, at least to put them on and get some smoke going. Now, you know you're not going to get any smoke from propane, but what I did was I made me a little smoke bomb, put me some wood chips in a little metal tray, covered it with foil, poked a few holes in it. I'm hoping this is going to give me some added flavor to these ribs to give them that smoke style. Since we're cooking them on gas. Let's go ahead and put these ribs on the pit. I sprayed the cooking grates with Pam. We've already burned everything off of it, so it's ready to go. And I'm just gonna take these ribs and just set them right on the rack. I'll have to check on them as they cook to make sure they're not burning, but you see we got some flames going. Make sure you put your ribs on straight because that is how they're gonna cook. If they got a curve to them, they will be curved when they're done. Looks good to me. And I'm gonna take my little smoke bomb. We'll just put it back here in the corner I don't want to put it too close to my thermostat. I don't know if that would mess up the temperature or not, so we'll just leave it right there. And it ought to start smoking once it gets good and hot. I don't want those chips to burn, I just want them to smolder. A lot of cooking space and you can get to it. I do like that about this grill, but let's close it down, see how fast it'll bounce back to 250. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but it does have a pretty cool viewing window. It's not smoked up yet. I can still see the rib. I can look in there and make sure my burners are going anyway. It's recovering. It didn't lose too much. It dropped down maybe, 20, 30 degrees. It's all about time now. So they've been on about an hour. We're starting to see some color. They're looking pretty good. What I'm really interested in is looking at the bottom. And you see we got some fat rendering, we got some blood coming up. That's normal. Let's flip them over. Oh, the backside's looking good. Rub's starting to stick. I think what I'm gonna do is flip these ribs at this point. I wanna get them even. So we're gonna go about an hour. I got a little bit of smoke coming out of my smoke bomb. That's okay. I'm not trying to over smoke them, but we're just trying to still get color on them. They've got a ways to go. On this propane grill, I know I'm gonna get 2 hours. I might be able to go a little longer to make sure I get my color right. But that's what I'm looking for at this stage. Anytime I'm cooking ribs, no matter what grill it is, I want to get that color right before I wrap them and get them tender. So this propane grill, we're working on color. My smoke bomb is doing its thing now. I should have put that dude on there a little bit earlier, but look, these ribs have been on another 30 minutes. Since I flipped them over, I wanted to look at them. So let's roll them over. Smoke's coming out my bomb. Oh yeah, they're looking good. I'm gonna let them go another 30 down, but don't burn yourself leaving your thumb there. That would be dumb. But let's flip them back over. Make sure this slab's looking all right too. Oh yeah, I'm getting some color on them. Getting some color on them. So we're gonna flip them back over and we're gonna go another 30 minutes and I believe it'll be time to wrap, but I want them to get some more of this smoke on there. Y'all look at this. Finally, it done caught up. Got all that little smoke. It ain't burning on fire, but it's definitely smoking. So we're getting some added flavor. And we're about 1 hour and 30 in on ribs, so normal time so far. My temperature is holding steady on this Members Mark grill. It's doing a pretty good job now. I can't complain about the temps. I didn't put a probe on the grate, so I really don't know what temp it is, but just by looking at it, I would say it's fairly close to 250 because I'm not getting too dark. I'm not rendering too fast. My bones aren't popping out. My color is even, y'all. Let it keep on smoking and cooking. I have got it smoked up in the smokehouse. Cooking these ribs. My smoke bomb is ginning over there, but it has been 2 hours, and this is typically where I want to wrap ribs. Usually my color, and look at the color on them. I mean, they are looking beautiful. It's time to wrap these jokers. So to wrap these ribs, I'm gonna hit them with a little more rub. I ain't putting too much in them today. I'm gonna keep the sugar to a minimum. I'm gonna add a little bit of my zero sugar barbecue sauce. Keep the calories down a little bit, but I want some flavor, y'all. I want some heat. I want a little vinegarness, and that's what we're gonna get here with this zero sugar. Pour it right over the top. We go meat down with our ribs in the foil, so we're gonna flip them over. On the back side, I'm gonna hit them with just a little more seasoning, a little line of that zero barbecue sauce. And I'm gonna pour just a little bit of apple juice for some added moisture in there. Not too much, just a couple tablespoons maybe. Then we're gonna close these dudes up. Make sure we don't lose any of that liquid we put in there. I got a double layer of foil. I'm gonna wrap them over, bring it back 2 layers, fold our ends up. It's that easy. Set them to the side. Now let's do the same thing to the other slab. A little seasoning over the top. You see anything on them we don't like, go ahead and get it off. A little bit of the barbecue sauce. Use whatever you like. Flip them over. Back side. A little sauce down the center. Not too much. Pour in a little bit of apple juice along the back. Wrap them over. Fold our ends up. And we back in business, y'all. Let's go back to the grill. I'm gonna keep my temps the same thing. Set these ribs back in the exact same position. Meat side down. This thing's still smoking, y'all, so I'm just gonna let it go. It ain't gonna affect them now that they're wrapped up, but it smells good in the smokehouse. So we're gonna close the lid, and I'm not touching the grill. I want it to stay about that 250 mark. Now it's just a matter of time, get these ribs tender. If you were cooking on any grill, first you gotta get some color, some smoke on them, then you gotta wrap them up, get them tender, and then how you finish them, you can finish them dry or wet. We'll see what we're gonna do, I don't know yet. All right, we've been cooking for about 1 hour in the wrap, and that's when I like to check for tenderness. I'm gonna carefully open this foil up, and the way we wrap them up, you can get in it easy. Just unfold it. They're looking good. We got some bone pulled back. Oh, it's loose. Hey, I'll tell y'all what. Look at that, 204. Shoot. That slab right there is done. Hold on, let's see what the backside looks like. Oh yeah, we gotta check the other rack. Now this slab was a little bit bigger. I'm gonna do the same thing, and it may not be there. I don't know, we got some bone pull. Let me see what the temp on this rack's reading. 204, 207. Man, I think we are there in 1 hour on the propane grill. Let's look at the backside of these. Oh yeah. Man, we've rendered that fat. They're gonna be tender. Let's take them off. Old smoke bomb still got a little trickle coming out of it. We're gonna leave it going. I'm gonna shut the grill, keep my temp going. What we're gonna do now is make us a little rib boat. I pull off enough to double it back, fold it in half. And then I like to take this side, fold it up a little bit, make me a little lip here. Then I can take the rib and put it right on it so I can see what I need. We're gonna take this side, we're gonna fold it back, and then fold it up. Kind of got a little lip on it too. And then at the end, I kind of do it paper airplane style. Just make you a little wall, fold the corners over, and then bring it up, and then just kind of tuck it in. There really ain't no right or wrong way. We're just making a little aluminum foil tray. But what that's gonna do is hold them ribs, and it's gonna make them, when I pick them up, easier to go back on the grill. Now we just gotta get them pretty again, and all we're gonna do is sprinkle just a light coat of dry seasoning right on top. If you want to change your flavors up, that's a good time to play with some different flavors on your rubs too. All it does is bring that color back from having them in that wrap. But we want to stick them back on the pit for probably about 30 minutes. We're going to kind of eyeball them. They're done, but they're not going to get any more tender. We've already got them tender. We're just working on color, drying them out a little bit. So let's go back to the grill. We're going to set these right back in place. Little smoke won't hurt you right now. You can tell we're kind of at the end of our little smoke bomb over here. It's smoking out the backside now, but it's kind of burned across. I want that little smoke. So I just let these ribs sit on here and kind of dry out, and you can see what that little bit of additional rub does to the top of them. It brings that color back. Now, that's a dry rib. If you wanted a wet rib or a saucy rib, this would be the time to go ahead and glaze them. I myself like eating them like this, so this way we're gonna try them today. I can taste the meat, I can taste the seasoning. Let's take them off and take them over to the cutting board. That is a beautiful rack of ribs. Would you have thought it'd come off a propane grill? I don't know what it's gonna taste like, but it looks dang good. So y'all, I cooked these ribs in about 3.5 hours. That was the total time. I did have it set on the thermostatically controlled mode, so it was fluctuating that temperature right around 250, 275 where I set it. But I wanted to see if these ribs would turn out edible. I mean, propane grilled ribs, I get questions about it, and you know, the answer is yes, you can cook them. Are they tender? Well, let's just see. But you see these ribs break right apart. I mean, I could take them right there. They don't have much smoke color because we didn't really smoke them. I made that little smoke bomb, but they are tender. And let's see how they taste. Tastes like a grilled rib. It's definitely not a smoker. They're not trying to make it a smoker, but can you cook some ribs on one? Absolutely. Pretty dang good. With these ribs, you really taste the meat. I mean, it's got that pork flavor. It has a grilled note to it, but it's more of about juiciness, the succulentness of this pork baby back ribs. Bone comes out clean. We got a little char on the end. We'll finish this bite off. Anybody can cook ribs, even on a propane grill. Y'all, thanks for hanging out with us here today at HowToBBQRight. If you like what we're doing, subscribe to the channel. We'll keep putting these videos out all year long. You can find me on all the social channels, HowToBBQRight. And Shell and I will be talking about this rib recipe on the propane grill at our weekly podcast. Y'all tune in, give that a listen too. We'll see you next time.